You know, almost done. Let's have a look here. Hold on. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to... Hello, Ivona. Hello, Necessary. And Tina. You got to give it... Tina, you have to give us all the updates on your big furry animals. And I'm going to do a circle over here. Cusp. Okay, just for the record, this has to be one of the most powerful historic charts, if not the most powerful historic charts I've ever witnessed in my lifetime of ever doing astrology. This is derived from here, this information here. A birthday reading, of course. So I marked this out. I didn't get all political about it on this channel, on this show tonight. We're just going to do tarot readings. I just wanted to point out that we're in at the epicenter of an extreme crisis zone in terms of astrology. It's for the whole world. It's for the whole of humanity. It's for the whole of planet Earth itself, the actual planet itself. The astrological pressure is intense at the moment. And I just, without going into details, I'm just letting you know that it's extreme, it's absolutely beautiful, it's spectacular, it's terrifying, all at the same time. We had the new moon over there, we got the full moon coming up, and that will be next week on Wednesday. Sorry, that'll be the new moon on Wednesday. So that's going to be, what date was that? That's the 25th. So that's over here. So we have a few more days as everything, let's say, starts to settle, because it's been an enormous... This is like looking at an astrological tsunami. Literally, it's an astrological tsunami. How does that affect everyone? It's different for every single person, every politician, every banker, every whale, every butterfly, every volcano, every mountain, every river, every tyrannical leader, every peacekeeper, every mother, every parent, every child, every goldfish, every cat. Okay. So is the heat. It's very intense. It's going to 100 degrees this week. New York for 3 days. Whoa, you're melting. Hey, well, just regarding the weather, I'm really celebrating because it's only like, what, 98 outside right now, 95. And a couple of days ago it was 105, and then a couple of days before that it was 115. So we've actually dropped 20 degrees in the last few days. It makes a huge difference. A huge, huge difference. Anyway, if anyone's interested in learning and understanding the deep, let's say, stories that go with this chart, you're welcome to come and visit me on my other platform at the Rumble platform, TarotLumination on Rumble. Okay, and we talk about this in detail, and it's fun and exciting, and I show you my true colors. You can find out the true nature of your TarotLumination tarot reader. So for the time being, I'm going to put this away. We're going to use this as a reference point because this is in the background for everybody and everything. Okay, so let's go over here. And I'm going to go over here. I'm going to put the blue over here. I'm going to put the green in the middle over here. And now we've got it. Okay, let's tuck this away. These little orange circles indicate points of intense, crushing energy of astrology. Here, 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 here. I don't want to turn this into an astrology show tonight. I guess you're just going to have to sort of take my word that this is astrological history. I don't have the charts from 9/11, way back 20 something years ago. We already had an astrological history over here on January 2020, and I wrote my little book about that. And if I had really anticipated all this, and let's say a couple of years ago, and I did enough advanced research, I would have written a book about this. But it's too little, too late. But it doesn't matter. We have all of this stuff over on my other platform. Please go and visit there. Please sign up, become a member, do donations, rants, monthly members, all of that. It really, really needs to happen, okay? Oh, so if anyone's here and you want a reading, by the way, hello, Victor. Victor, I will indulge a little bit of money stuff just for fun. And then we're going to go off and do some readings. So let's have a look. I just need to check a couple things in the background here. Checking up on readings. So give me a moment, please, okay? Let's have a look. Where are we? Okay, so Ivona is going to get a birthday reading. Okie dokie. Let me mark things up here. If anybody wants, let's have a look here. I gotta go check. Sorry, I'm in the background doing, let's see, management, as they say. Okay, so let's mark it up here like we do with our magic post-it notes. Alright, so let's have a look here. I'm going to tuck these aside for now. And I'm going to check in with everybody. See if we can do this as professionally as I possibly can. Okay. Jody, hello Jody. Hello Love Driver. Hello Victor. I'm a Leo and I see the yod. Oh, you see the yod. Ha ha ha. Oh my gosh. Oh, let's see. Where am I? Here we go. Good evening. This is TarotLumination. It's Sunday Night Live mini tarot readings by donation. If anyone wants a mini reading, I'll show you how. You go over here. You can go on another device or something, another tab or whatever, and you go to TarotLumination.com. You find the donate page, you click the donate button, it comes up with a payment processor like online shopping, and you can scroll down and you can figure out how to use the debit or credit type options and so on. So that's how that works. So just getting everybody clued in. So while Victor's here, because I know Victor doesn't hang around for the mini readings, but he likes to hang around for stories and especially the money stuff. So I've got a few opinions on the money stuff. When you look at the charts, it's monumental. The whole of the global financial system is basically, I look at it as chaos, but it's beautiful. It's beautiful chaos. You can go to all sorts of financial sources and pundits and very, very smart, capable channels, podcasters about money, even the big places, for gold and cryptos and everything. So you've probably heard stories about how the American dollar is going to collapse and so on. Nobody's buying any bonds and so on, and people are dumping bonds and so on. Well, that's sort of true in a way, but the problem is, if you're into bonds, where else are you going to go? We have some of the highest interest rates right now, so that's quite appealing, you would think. The problem is it's about trust. Not a lot of people are believing in the whole world of debt and bonds and the fiat currency system anymore. That's why it's showing signs of imploding. All of this is highly predictable. It's been heading this way for the last 7 years, and it accelerated extremely fast in the last I would say the last year or so, and we're at the point of critical degrees right now, crisis, where Uranus in Taurus is shifting into Uranus in Gemini. Uranus in Taurus would represent very solid old school system. Even though it's fraud, it's the system. It's the fiat currencies. At the pinnacle of power, money, and control is the Federal Reserve Bank and the banking system and all the other central banks around the world. It's a cartel. And they make their money by theft through the mechanism of inflation. It's controlled inflation. In America, the Fed says that it likes to have 2%. That means we can gently shave off equity from the masses at around 2% inflation, and the masses will never know. It's how we keep it balanced, okay? We tell everybody all we care about is keeping everybody employed and making America wealthy and so on. They don't tell you about what really happens. So, Jerome Powell has everything set up at about 4, I think it's 4.5, 4.75. So that's very high relative to the rest of the world. My feeling is that he's keeping it high because he's desperate and he needs American bonds to be sold and bought, okay? Trouble is, it's a little too late, because let's say, that's the best place to buy bonds. But the thing is, I don't trust it anymore. America is exploding. It's falling apart. I'm going to go buy bonds from, Australia. Oh, that's not going to work. No yield. I'm going to go to Switzerland. Oh, yeah, super safe. 0 yield. Oh, well, what about the euro? Let's go to the euro. There's only a couple points. Oh, well, where am I going to go? All I do is bonds. Where am I going to go? I guess I better go back to America. So it's very anemic right now, which is sort of like the last stages of the whole cartel is starting to die off. So that all began in 1913, and we've been going for 110, 12, 13 years or something like that. And in its place, we're getting a whole new phenomenon based on blockchain, decentralized finance, Bitcoin, utilities like XRP and XLM, and so on. Hi, Bubba. I'll get you topped up in a minute. But it's very hard to adjust because it's two very, very different systems. Uranus in Gemini is going to be all about the growth of decentralized finance across the world. Bubba. Okay, folks, I'm going to have to play you a little tune because I got to get Bubba sorted out. Okay, so, where am I going to find my little song that I love to play to everybody? Where is it? It's my rebellion song. Oh, Bubba just went and hid away. Well, I'll leave it for now. I'll get back to you later, Bubba. Don't you worry. Thank you, Bubba. Bubba understands. Okay. Can I do a short reading for the U.S.? Of course, Tina. I would be very, very happy to do that. So back to Victor. So the whole bond market is looking very, very flimsy, fragile, disjointed, and it's creating all sorts of headlines for the financial channels and speakers. finance, the death of the dollar. Oh, it's the end of global American hegemony. Oh, we knew this was going to happen. Everybody hates America because the dollar's weaponized, and so on and so on. So it's not really quite like that. It's because there's nowhere else to go. And in the background, which is soon going to become the foreground, we've got blockchain, decentralized finance, Bitcoin, XRP, XLM coming into the future. The future's already here if you're inside China and you're tuning into the very dark, ugly side of Uranus and Gemini, where they have central bank digital currencies, which is essentially a financial prison system for the Chinese Communist Party population. It's very sad. The Eurozone is trying to do the same thing, and poor Europeans are, they haven't figured out yet how to stop the European Union from imposing the prison system. In America, I don't think we're going to see CBDCs anytime soon. Not while this certain president is in power, let's put it that way. He is actually, this other fellow, DJT, he is steering us straight into Uranus and Gemini. Now, why is that so important? Well, it's the global financial system in terms of commerce. How does the world actually engage in commerce? Well, it's perfectly possible to engage in commerce without a central bank. Oh, that's a problem for the central banks. What are the central banks going to do? They don't really have a solution. So, DJT is very heavily into the development of Bitcoin corporations, decentralized finance, blockchain, and so on and so on. He's heavily invested in himself, and he's making a lot of money already. There are Bitcoin corporations being set up now that use very strategic leverage to, let's say, grow their Bitcoin corporation so they're not just contingent on the price of Bitcoin or stacking Bitcoin. It's all about profiting from strategic leverage using Bitcoin as the foundation. Very complicated, very, very effective. So that's where it's heading. And we, the innocent people, we're just going to have to eventually go along with the show. So the other thing is money. Okay, so you know all about the huge explosion over the weekend and how it sent all sorts of shockwaves across the world, including financial. Well, I was tracking some charts earlier. You can look at Zero Hedge if you want to. It's showing all the oscillations in the markets, especially with oil prices. Oh my God, all sorts of scary things are happening. We're heading into World War III. Oil prices. Oh my God, there's a big bomb. It just went kaboom. The markets shut down. And a little while later, they went up. And they're active again now, and it's almost like nothing happened. So where's the big deal? Where's $120 oil? Where's $170 oil? It's around $78 right now. So, big deal. A lot of markets went gyrating all over the place, expecting this or expecting that. But if you look at oil, some people might enjoy this. If you're into Bitcoin, Bitcoin has crashed down to about 97, 98,000. So it's a fantastic time to buy if you're a Bitcoin stacker. There you go. Vanguard has a Bitcoin ETF too. Yeah, they're gonna start cropping up all over the place. Once you understand the mechanism, I have a very crude understanding of the mechanism. I'm not going to talk about it here, but basically it's Bitcoin corporations. They buy a big stack of Bitcoin, and that is their foundational block from which they do their strategic leveraging for rapid algorithmic trading of Bitcoin, where essentially you borrow. It's like having your own line of credit. You use your line of credit to buy Bitcoin at crash prices, wait for everything to go up, take profits, pay back the line of credit, and keep the profit margin for yourself, and then repeat, 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 repeat. They can do the same thing when the prices go down too. But I'm not a trader, so I can't tell you much more. Oh boy, oh boy. Global hysteria, insanity, all highly predictable when you look at the charts. Okay, so Tina, we're going to do a reading for you for the whole of America. Wow, I've never done a reading for the whole of America before, or have I? I might have done. It's possible. We do really crazy readings on this show sometimes. I'll give it a shot, all right, Tina? I'll do the best I can. Okay, now let's have a look. Catch up with the chat. There's so many other financial things going on right now, and it's there. I don't want to get stuck into it with all the politics and stuff, but a lot of it is pivoting around whether you hate a certain president or not. If you're a hater, or if you've got TDS syndrome, then you're going to lean to one side, and that's going to have a sort of financial appearance. And if you are in favor of this certain president, your finances are going to look different. You're looking through different lenses. There's a couple channels. Oh gosh, I'm getting stuck in the mud. I have to shut up. I'm sorry. Let's have a look. All right, let's go over here. So Tina, are you going to tell us about your furry animals? Okay. Happy birthday, Ivona. Alright, let's have a look here. Oh gosh, Victor, we have so much fun. Actually, Victor, before we get started, so what I was just talking about regarding the world and everything, for Victor, this is important. This is where we are at the crisis point. We've had a 7-year, hold on, let me mark it out. We've just finished living through the 7-year journey of Uranus in Taurus, where things became more and more chaotic, unstable, revolutionary, exciting, and terrifying, to the point of critical mass where we are right now. And then kaboom, we shift into a whole new paradigm. Okay? So in the meantime, we've got little Venus in the sweet spot in Taurus right now, basically saying, it's not going to be so bad, people. As scary as everybody thinks it is out there, Venus is blessing the second house of global money here. Okay? Uranus is the planet of revolution, chaos, upheaval, evolution, that has to happen through shock and awe. Otherwise we don't wake up. It's the planet of awakening. It's the planet of freedom, releasing shackles to stale, obsolete, redundant beliefs. So mostly that is to do with money. But with planet Earth, of course, we're also talking about all the, for the last 7 years, but especially in the last year or two, all the floods, mind-boggling flooding over here in China, floods, fires, hurricanes, tornadoes, extreme drought, extreme cold, extreme heat. Very, some also, depending on the transits over the last 7 years, really ugly stuff happening with the environment, the planet itself, our tectonic plates really shifting, earthquakes, volcanoes all over the place, accelerating and amplifying. And at the same time, we've also got a solar weather pattern that's unfolding at the 11th year, where we're heading to the solar maximum, which tends to bring more sunspots, more flares, and so on. Plus, we have the magnetic pole shift. Again, all of that I associate here. So it feels very like scary, destabilizing. We could talk about things like, chemtrails and all that stuff, poisoning the water, poisoning the land, poisoning the air, and so on and so on. But anyway, the big shift regarding Victor. So this is about money itself. Money is a belief system. Money is what we believe it to be. Money is what we have been conditioned to believe it to be. Well, it's going to change, okay? The new thing is happening now, and over the next 7 years, Uranus is going to be going through Gemini, this journey here. This is all about commerce. In other words, the process of actually trading, buying oil and gas, sorting out the contract through currencies, grocery shopping, farmers markets and stuff. Everything is done through commerce and trade. And that's where the whole Bitcoin, decentralized finance, blockchain system is going to go through development. It's over the next 5 years. 5 years from now, the financial world is going to look extremely different. So, the details, I don't know. Where do you invest? Where do investors invest? I'm not an investor. I can't do that stuff. I've made lots of so-called investments and they've exploded in my face. I'm not blessed with investor luck. I take extreme risks in certain aspects of life, but I'm also interested in stability because I'm not that excited about risk anymore. I've had too much risk and instability. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, these points here, points of crisis, crisis, double crisis, double crisis. Actually, I sort of said that. By the way, this is the Yod, okay? This is the finger of God. This is extreme hyper pressure to move in this direction and understand the energy of Mars. In this case, it was Mars in Leo switching to Mars in Virgo. Mars in Virgo basically wants, organized peace. Mars in Leo enjoys a good fight, okay? And so this was a highly charged moment in astrological history. It's a double Yod. This one here and this one here. And the common link is this inconjunct here. This is a quincunx or an inconjunct. That represents the energy between Pluto and Mars in such a way. Forget the signs, just think of Pluto and Mars. The inconjunct energy is very, very hard to handle. It puts everything in a very, very difficult position regarding decision making. Is it going to be this way or is it going to be that way? Are we going to drop bombs or are we going to get peace? How do you get peace? How can you explain peace through strength to someone who does not understand the phenomenon? You have to show, okay? Anyway, I don't want to get tangled into all that stuff, okay? All right. Jupiter in Cancer. I see your notes there. Jupiter in, I should have mentioned that. Jupiter, it loves being in Cancer. Jupiter is exalted in Cancer. It brings stability, expansion, good fortune, healing to the Cancerian nature. For example, the United States. Is it a coincidence that the United States was born with Jupiter in Cancer? And that's why we are so blessed and so fortunate, and how we are so resilient against so many demonic forces. Mercury is in Cancer as well. That's America too. It's amazing, isn't it, how it all works? Oh, man. Yeah, anyway, sorry. I got distracted. All right, so Ivona, you're up. Let me go. I just saw a bunch of notes in the... let me catch up with you. Vanguard as a Bitcoin ETF. Yeah, Jody Kendall. So it's a birthday meeting. Tina, I'm sorry I didn't have any extra. My pump on my well went out. I didn't have water over a week. Okay, no worries. That's scary. Tina, I just want to let you know, over here where I live, I got 250 gallons spare water, 4 huge tanks, plus about another 2,000 gallons on the side. And I have mechanical pumps. I don't need electricity, okay? Didn't have water for a week. Wow, that was scary. Yeah. Pax is doing great. Charlie, Pax, and... oh, God, please name everybody. Good nosewort class. Almost a fire hazard, okay. Oh. Okay. Oh, that's so nice. Pax. She sounds like a real sweetheart. Pics on Facebook. Okay. Okay. Okay, all right. Charlie and Pax are playing. That's sweet. Oh, thank you, Tina. I would love to see all the names of all 3 of your wonderful doggy creatures on the screen, just so I have a reference. Oh, by the way, before we get into the reading here, Sasha, of course I knew that. Thank you, Tina. Does anybody want a beautiful little cat? Right now I'm doing a little bit of, I don't know, community feeding or whatever you call it. There's a little cat where I go to McDonald's. And it doesn't have a proper home. It's a very beautiful cat. It's very small. It's jet black, long-haired, beautiful, dazzling green eyes, a very tiny, squeaky meow. She might be very young, maybe abandoned or thrown away or lost, I'm not sure. But for the last couple of months, I've been feeding her and water and food and so on. And she recognized me. I've had a couple of occasions where I've been able to pet her, but obviously she lives in the wild, so she's very, very jumpy and scared of people. I know other people come around and visit because I can see a bit of a mess where other people do their stuff with trying to help her. And I'm not in a position where I can take her in. I would love to, because she's absolutely gorgeous and she deserves to be in a good home. She's got a few matted. She's a little bit matted because she sleeps on it. She sleeps on the dirt and so on. And anyway, I'm going to try and find a way to get her adopted. That's the only thing I can think of. There's a rescue crew that will come in and trap her and do the spay neuter and a couple of vaccines and check out her health, but then they'll just return her to the wild. So, but they're still helping me to find an adoption center. They sent me a load of links where I can hopefully find a group that will adopt her or put her into a place where you can adopt a little cat. So we'll find out. I don't have any pictures yet. Maybe I will. Maybe I can find a way to post them or something. I don't know. Let's have a look. Alrighty, so in the meantime, you know who's missing tonight? You know who's missing tonight? Can anybody figure it out? It's Gregory. Sometimes Robin shows up as well. Is Robin here? No. You can get a humane cage. The ASPA, what's that? American Society for Protection of Animals, I'm guessing. Okay, well, I need to find out more about that. Anyway, I'm feeling that it's a girl, and she's been named as Parker, which is kind of an androgynous name in case it's a guy. But I have a feeling you had a feral for 6 months. They need a home that they can be outside. Yes, that's absolutely true. This little cat needs to be able to be outside. She would not cope very well on the inside. She stays very close to where she lives. She lives underneath an old van, parked under a tree, and she stays there to get shade and protection from people. People still visit her. She's an absolutely beautiful little creature. And I know she wants to go home with somebody because she tried to follow me to the car. And I had to shoo her back under the van. I have to be very careful so I don't get too attached. I mean, that she doesn't get attached to me, but I still feel a strong need to provide her food and water until something can be figured out. All right, Ivona. So the next read, let me put a little post-it up for the next reading. Hello, Karen. Yeah. Yep. Let me sort this one out here. I've got a reading. We got a reading for Ivona, and we got a reading from Tina. It's all about the USA. Okie doke. And Karen, hello Karen, hello there from, hello to beautiful New Zealand. My God, I miss New Zealand. Okay. Pause. P-A-W-S. Okay. I better make a note of that. A-S-P-A. And what's the other one? P-A-W-S. Okay. I'll look into that. Thank you. I'm going to put that over on my special spot. Okay, I'm going to put these aside for now. Here you are, Tina. That's for you, for America. This is for you, Karen, over there in beautiful New Zealand. But right now, it's all about Ivona. Oh boy. Okay, I will look into that. Oh. Excuse me, hold on a second. A little bit of a medical emergency. I think I've got a bloody nose. Oh no. Oh. Hold on, people. Give me a moment. Should be able to keep going. Oh dear. Sorry about that. Please bear with me. Okay, hi Victor. Thank you all. Thank you very much. Yeah, Victor, come visit me on Rumble. Let's see, make sure everything's good here. Ivona, brace yourself. It's interesting. Today is the 22nd. You just had the sun enter Cancer. We just had the summer solstice. And in a few days, we're going to have the Cancerian new moon. Okay. Oh gosh, excuse me. Hold on a second. Oh gosh. Oh. Alrighty, there we go. All right, let's have to stay hydrated. Okay, sorry, it's I'm taking a. I'm doing my best here. Okay, just bear with me. No jumpers, no flyers. I'm not doing any oracles. Okay, and. Everybody here pretty much knows the routine anyway, but just in case, try and imagine you're at a beautiful nighttime campfire. We're all in a nice happy circle, and you're ready for a lovely evening together. Very open, very trusting. It's on the understanding that we all have our own individual set of invisible friends. Our loved ones from the great beyond who love us dearly and want nothing but the best for us. And they are there to help guide us and protect us as we go. The nosebleed, yes. I think I'll be okay. The air is, we have humidity levels of about 6 to 7% here right now. So the air is extremely dry. It really messes up your sinuses and your lungs and your mouth, your breathing. You have to be very careful. The air is very strange. You walk outside and everything looks crystal clear, and then you raise your head up and look at the horizon. You can't see any of the mountains. Where I live, if you look, you can see that the whole city is surrounded by mountains. But then you look closer and you realize, I can't even see the mountains. Why? It's because the air is full of dust. Sometimes we have heavy dust storms, but this is dust that is so fine, it's finer than talcum powder. You can't even really see it except through a distance. It's very, very strange. It's not a haze, because I associate haze with moisture. This is dust. Micro dust. All right, Ivona, I hope you're sitting comfortably, ready for anything. All right, here we go. No, I'm not. I'm not blowing my nose. I'm trying to be very careful right now. Here we go. All right. Happy birthday, Ivona. Here's the situation. Life right now. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle things. And we could do this all sorts of ways. What's it look like for the year ahead? What's it good? What are the problems? What are the good things? I'm just going to go completely open. Okay. We're going to look at external influences. We will find out. The reading will tell us what it's about as we go. If it ends up as a very broad scale reading, so be it. If it ends up as a very precise, like a narrow reading, we'll see. Oh, Fluffles. Wow. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's do it. Fluffles, go ahead, book yourself in. You know the routine. And I will create your post-it note right now. But for anyone else who's watching, that's it. We're booked up. That's all I can handle for tonight. There you go. All right. So you have to be patient, Fluffles. I'm going to be here for a while. We've already got Tina, Karen, and then Fluffles, okay? All right, so again, I'm looking at external influences. What do we have here? Justice. Oh, that feels good. You deserve all the good things, Iona. Justice is coming for you. I'm so glad you told me about your recent I don't know what to call it, achievement. I'm so happy for you, and you deserve it. Justice, it makes me feel like this is going to be a theme, like you said, for the whole year. And we already know with Jupiter in Cancer, you are blessed. You will be blessed, and you will continue to be blessed. There will come a point, since obviously you are an early Cancer. Today's the 22nd. So you're in the first few degrees of Cancer. Jupiter itself is in the first degrees of Cancer. So you're going to get like a blueprint. You're going to get like the Jupiter seal of approval. And that's going to be very good news for you in terms of healing, a sense of protection, a sense of opportunity, a sense of things opening up for you that may have been building up for a long time. Remember, Jupiter has about a 12-year journey for the Jupiter return. Every 12 years, you get a Jupiter return. Right now, Jupiter's been living through Gemini, and now we've got, so that's a 12-year journey. So you're just starting a new chapter of Jupiter. So Jupiter, it takes roughly a year for each sign. So you add it up, it's roughly a 12-year journey. The moon is 28 days. Okay, the moon is 28 days to do a loop. Jupiter is 12 years to do a loop. That gives you an idea of the difference. So this looks like a very fortunate alignment and piece of astrology for you, Ivona. And it looks like with the Justice card, this is something that you deserve because you've worked for it. And the laws of karma are basically acting accordingly. In other words, good decision making over the last 12 years, no matter how hard things have been over that period of time. I mean, you've been with this channel for the last 7 or 8 years, right from the very, very early days, and you've gone through lots of ups and downs like all of us. But with what I'm seeing here, and what I just showed you on the chart, is it looks to me like good news. To me, this feels very, very soothing as well, like an affirmation, a confirmation that you did right, that you made a lot of tough decisions that were ultimately healthy and loving and good and appropriate for whatever situation. And it accumulates, and then justice and karma kicks in, and you get bounty. The healthy side of Jupiter. Good fortune, health, bounty, opportunity, healing. Let's have a look. What's the situation itself? So, with the Seven of Wands, makes me feel like you're the boss, you're in charge. You know damn well that life goes on and it's going to have challenges no matter what. But you're equipped to handle all of this. If you look at these other 6 wands, the other 6 wands down here, don't be frightened of them. it's better to look at them as exciting challenges that are going to come your way, which will, let's say, stimulate you to tap into your natural good fortune and prosper and benefit accordingly. In other words, just because you've got Jupiter on your side, you just had you've got a Cancer new moon coming in late this week, and the Sun is in Cancer. That's all very, very nice for you. And you're also starting a new Jupiter return. It doesn't mean you can just sit back and relax in a hammock and drink, your favorite beverages and look at the clouds and say, I'm going to be fine because I'm guided and protected. No, you just have to keep going, being Ivona, okay? And in this case, understanding that life's challenges are going to still come your way, but that you're more than capable, more than prepared, and more than able to handle it as you go through the next year. What are the challenges here? Sorry, hold on. Okay. So we've got, that's interesting, 2 7s in a row. I don't know what that means really. I'm not going to attribute anything to it. But with the 7 of Cups here, my feeling is that there's the first thing I felt is that you're going to really kind of enjoy and benefit from paying close attention to your dreams and your ability to meditate and to sense things through your pituitary gland that you wouldn't sense otherwise. The downside of this is that how do you interpret those messages, those feelings, those images, those dreams? So you have to be very, very careful. It's like this to me looks like good news. This looks like good news. And it's like, how can I put this? If you sense something scary is going to happen or is going on or is troublesome or it's frightening for you, double check. Ask for guidance, ask for protection, speak directly to your invisible friends and your angels and your guides and ask for more clarity and more definition so that you are not, let's say, a victim to all the random dreamlike energy that's out there. It's out there in the whole world all day, every day for everybody. But this is specific for you. Let's say, because, with all this Cancerian energy, you're naturally going to be very, intuitive, psychic, and so on. But you have to be careful that you don't misinterpret things in such a way that they could backfire. In other words, double check your dreams relative to reality. How do we proceed with all of this? Okay, with the 10 of Swords here, it makes me feel like, please understand that the worst is over, and that all of these, if you think of this as fears that are coming up into your psyche, into your mind, going forward, the idea is that these are all your worst fears that need to come up through the world, through the portal of your imagination, your dreams, your feelings, your intuition, so that they can achieve definition. Okay, see, with the Justice here and the Swords, you need clarity and definition going forward so that your very, very watery Cancerian type of nature is not discombobulated by all the astrological turbulence that's out there in the whole world, but also the personal turbulence that might happen in your life any day as you go through the journey of your next year. And so with the Nine of Swords here, it's almost like a prayer, like, dear angels, dear guardians, dear invisible friends, dear guides, please give me very precise definition about what are these horrible things that scare me, and especially if I can learn through dreams, so that I'm not a victim, so that I am not a victim of things that I don't understand or things that I'm not aware of. And so I don't have to be frightened, okay? This is, on its own, the Nine of Swords is a little bit frightening. It means almost like I'm being plagued by nightmares. But in this situation, what the reading is telling me is that this is how you proceed. You allow and understand that your intuition is going to really increase, and you're going to become more divinely connected to the spiritual realm, which is going to expose you also simultaneously to it's almost going to make you more vulnerable, because as your spirit, as your core opens up to receive, you can also receive stuff that is not welcome. So you have to be very, very clear. You have to be able to discern very, very clearly that which is precarious and unwelcome. You have to be able to put it in words. You have to put like very clear, simple definition into words. Oh, what does that dream mean? Oh, now I understand. Don't go for a walk in the park at night. Something like that. Whatever it is. So this is basically like a check engine light on your car, and you need to pay very close attention to it so that you don't get lost, okay? That's going forward. Okay, so I hope that reading makes sense for you. P, I'm already booked up. I'm totally booked up, okay? Alright, let's put this away. I'm going to have to get shuffled up here. P, I'm sorry, I'm all booked up. P, if you want to, you can book something, and I'll show you how, P. So, P, I'm booked up for tonight, but if you want, I can do a mini reading for you during the week and just send it to you by email. You go over here, TarotLumination.com, go to the donate page, click the donate button, and it's like online shopping, okay? So I hope that helps. Right now I'm going to shuffle this up. I need a few moments, please, if you don't mind. Oh gosh, where am I? Sorry. right, Tina, here we go. Whew. I guess this is like all in. If everybody could just imagine, again, we're at the campfire. It's a beautiful evening, stars in the sky. The ocean is just a quarter of a mile away. Crystal clear sky. We're surrounded by mountains, beautiful trees, plants, and animals. All right, so what kind of messages do we have for the USA tonight? Thank you, Tina Miller. This is for the whole of America, as an organism, as an entity. And just keep him. All right, let's just go. Okay, here we go. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at external influences. Of course, in this case, I'm probably just going to defer to the astrology. Let's have a look. So we've got the Three of Wands here. This is very much about destiny unfolding. I think it's absolutely beautiful. Seeds have already been planted. In order for the Three of Wands to be here at all, it's already on the understanding that the Two of Wands and the Ace of Wands have already occurred. And now we're actually starting to see what I would call, what's that expression? I think it's manifest destiny. America is reaching and starting to get a glimpse of its manifest destiny, which I am going to dare to present to you as this. Whether you like it or not, whether you don't believe it, or whether you do believe it or not, this is the foundation of the United States of America. It's what makes America totally unique relative to the rest of the world in terms of a population, okay? No other country has what we have. This is unique. A lot of countries have something vaguely similar, or they try to mimic this thing, but none of it is constituted or declared as the bedrock law and constitution of the country, and hence the population. Okay, so this is a very unique thing. America is unique. Of course, every country is unique in its own way, but this is exceptionally unique because nowhere else has this, and it sets America apart, for better or worse. For a lot of people, especially the tyrannical people, tyrannical operators, I'm not going to say names, but they're very bad people who want a lot of bad things to happen for America. This is the enemy. It's not really the people, it's this. This is the enemy. This is like the Hierophant card. This is the operating system. This is the definition of how America works. And we've come full circle, as you know. We've already lived through the Pluto return back here, 1776, and then here we are. Soon it's going to be 2026. It's the 250th year anniversary, which is, interestingly enough, a full Pluto return. It's pretty monumental as well, because in essence, the rebirth of America is effectively manifest destiny manifesting itself. In other words, destiny is manifesting itself as a rebirth. It doesn't look like a spectacular card here, but this is really, in my understanding of tarot, this is an indication that this is, it's like we're actually witnessing this. It's starting to unfold. We're seeing it deep in the horizon over here. And it's basically unfolding because the destiny of this, the whole point of this, is that we can be reborn every 250 years. The problem is that over the last 60 years, but especially in the last 4 or 5 years, the nasty people have been doing everything they can to destroy this from the outside and from within, and they have failed. They have failed spectacularly. Of course, they are still fighting. but we have basically recalibrated and redeclared ourselves going forward. So I see this as destiny unfolding and basically a renewal of this. That's how I look at it. Let's have a look. What's the situation itself? The Wheel of Fortune. Wow, how perfect can you get? This is destiny unfolding exactly on time, like a ticking clock. In other words, the founders of America knew that this moment would come. If you want to turn into the global headlines right now, I'm not going to talk about them, but pretty much everybody in the world is very aware that we're living through a monumental period in world history. And it's interesting how it pivots directly around the United States. Of course, some people hate that. Some people love it. I'm one of the people who love it. If you are a tyrannical leader from here or here or here or here, or places in here, places in here, or places in here, then this is very off-pissing. It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. It's like a freaking movie, a 250-year movie that came to an epic conclusion, like, oh my God, oh God, it's the end. America is dead, it's dying. And then the movie goes to black. And everything goes dark for a while. And then you start seeing commercials on Netflix that says, USA, the movie, part 2. Oh my God, everybody goes, what do you mean? I thought America was dead. Nope, not again, not at all. We're starting all over. We're starting from scratch, all over again. We're spinning the wheel, and it's going to be set up for another 250-year cycle. Kaboom. Wow. All right, what's the challenges here? Okay, so we got the five of swords here. The way I see it is very, very simple. There's no point in trying to convince anybody. You see, the thing is, okay, like, for example, I'll try to, the only way I can think of this right now is in a personal way. Everybody on this channel knows that I'm in favor of all of this. I'm in favor of freedom versus tyranny. I'm in favor of the reconstitution and the redeclaration. I'm in favor of all of that. But do I go around all day preaching to other people, oh, you have to convert, oh, you're a horrible, anti-American so-and-so, you need to be punished, you need to convert, you're so stupid because you don't understand this and you don't want this, you're a horrible person because you're an enemy of all of this. I don't do any of that. I just mind my own business. I literally mind my own business. However, there are plenty of people, even on my side of the equation, the freedom-loving side, Americans, who sadly kind of get sucked into futile battles of words, especially the mainstream media, and so on and so on. It's happening live right now in Washington. It's becoming very, very savage in Washington right now, as certain people are exposing their true nature and trying to justify their opinions, their attitudes, their beliefs, and tell certain people, I told you so, I told you so, I told you so. And then other people are looking back, they're not even bothering to listen, like it's just like, oh. And then, so imagine I'm one of those people, and hold on, I'm going to have to act this out. Imagine I'm one of those people that pledges to love America, and then because of what's actually happening, I am starting to lash out against America and the leadership of America, because things didn't turn out according to the certain purist, let's say simplistic beliefs that I've been carrying for decades. And I start lashing out It's kind of like wasting your breath. Also, there are other people who already hate America, and they're continuing to lash out verbally against America, but they're kind of, I guess if you're in the hate America crowd, you're going to coalesce with other hate America people, and you are going to continue to shout and condemn and judge and demonize anybody who will listen to you about how horrible America is. But there are more and more people in America who are realizing, like, it's so tedious, it's so boring, so stupid. All you people out there who are judging America and saying how bad it is, like, let's say I'm a freedom lover of America. I'm like, I don't really care. If you hate it here so much, I don't want to hear you. Just go away. Go back to those tyrannical places that you worship. Why are you here anyway? So it's the energy of futility. It's the energy of futile conversations. So the problem is, I think it's going to drag on for a very long time as all the haters continue to spew hate, and we the people can't really stop it because we allow for freedom of speech. And so we're going to get this continuous barrage in the background of America haters just constantly spewing out their garbage, and there's no point in taking it seriously because that's what they believe. And if you get sucked into their hate America belief systems and thoughts, you'll end up, I would say, just full of misery, bitterness, resentment, and anger. So there's no point in even listening. But they're going to keep trying. The America haters are going to do everything they can to try and demonize people who love America and our rebirth and our manifest destiny. In other words, our destiny manifesting. There are going to be so many people. There are certain people who have very high levels of credibility in the podcasting world who are showing their true colors, and they're turning into some of these. Hello, Diana. I'm booked up, Diana. All right, let's have a look. How do we proceed with all of this? We choose to believe in happiness anyway. We choose to believe to be happy anyway. Be happy anyway. Celebrate. This is almost like Jupiter in Cancer. Okay? This is an incredible occasion, okay, for America. America is born with Jupiter in Cancer. America is born with Mercury in Cancer. The Sun is coming into Cancer very soon. And in a couple of months, Venus will be in Cancer. So there's a lot to celebrate and enjoy and embrace about the beauty and wonder of America, that it really, really is. And so, in other words, the important thing is to go on and believe in understanding that we have something truly amazing, and the show, instead of the absolute utter obliteration and destruction and vaporization of America, kaboom, all that's happening is the worst nightmare for the America haters. It's giving birth to itself all over again, but on a bigger scale than ever before. This is the first time we've ever done a Pluto return. Who knows, maybe we'll do another one. But in the meantime, how do we proceed? We enjoy the bounties of Jupiter and Mercury and the Sun in Cancer, blessing America right now, being grateful for our homes, our families, our land, our resources, our skies, our waters, our rivers, streams, lakes, the animals, the farms, our community. It's beautiful. It's absolutely freaking beautiful on a global scale. We are so unbelievably blessed in this country. So it doesn't matter how bad things are. Please understand that we are incredibly fortunate. Attitude of gratitude. Wow, it's beautiful. Wow, huh? It's beautiful. Thank you so much, Tina. Thank you. We're going to move on now. I hope that helped people. I hope some people got some joy out of this. Where am I? Okay, I have to shuffle up again. We're going to read for Karen soon. All right, so Karen, brace yourself. Take care of Bubba. Hold on. patience. Karen, you're up. Hold on, I gotta do some technical stuff here. Give me a second. All right, Karen. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that little mini reading about America. Thank you so much, Tina. Now we're going to hop over to New Zealand. Okay, there's America, and there's New Zealand. I don't have a bigger version of it in the moment, but you can see it right there. There we are. Beautiful, beautiful New Zealand. Alrighty. Alright, so some of you, most of you know Karen. She's been here with the channel now for quite a few years. We've done all sorts of readings. Karen is a very active member of the arts community in New Zealand. Alright, let's see what kind of messages we have for Karen today. The way I feel about your work, Karen, is that it's very heartfelt and very much about honoring and respecting the culture of New Zealand, as opposed to being, you know, some like there's all sorts of artists. Some of them are in for the fame and the glory. Some of them are just purists and private, and they do it for their own satisfaction. Some of the people do it as a big hustle for money. My feeling is that in your situation, it's about celebrating and honoring culture. And respect. It's about respect for the craft, respect for the people, respect for the country, and so on. Right. So cards are well shuffled. And looks like we're just going to do a completely blind reading. Okay, there we go. All right, Karen, I hope you're ready. Here we go. Here's the basics. We're going to cut this all up. I forgot earlier to tell people who are watching, if there's people who are not used to this stuff, this is one of my, I use 3 spreads. My spreads are all custom. I only use 3 spreads. This is my situational spread. I have a relationship spread, and I have like a heart journey, spiritual evolution type spread. So this situation spread is more or less like a diagnostic approach to doing readings. In other words, whatever the issue might be, we have to reveal it to heal it. And this sort of like opens up a portal. It's like if you have a problem with your car, you take it to a technician, they plug in the diagnostic box, and they tell you what's wrong. It comes up on a computer screen. Oh, your catalytic converter is totally ruined, or something like that. And then you know what to do. You have to reveal it to heal it. If you don't know what the problem is, how are you going to heal it? Okay? Okay, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things going forward. Karen, you're already in a very beautiful place. I'm sure you're very aware of that. New Zealand is an extremely fortunate place. Okay. This is the external influences. I'm going to keep it very, very neutral. I'm just going to mostly default to the planets, okay? Strength. Okay. So it makes me feel, I don't know about you, Karen, but I have been stretched to the absolute limits of my ability to cope in everything with body, mind, heart, and soul. Health issues in my body. Feeling like I'm going absolutely insane. Heart, my feelings like, where does my heart, where is love? Does love even exist? Is it a phenomenon, a concept, or what? Where is it? How does it apply in my life? And at my soul, like, oh, what is the meaning of my journey here? And so on. A lot of it is getting really, really shredded, ripped apart. And of course, as always, I blame it on the planets, okay? Right now, these places, I see your notes there, Fluffles. We'll get back to that. So with these planets, the way they're lined up, we're at a really extreme crisis point astrologically. And it shows up most vividly in the yod here and the yod here. But it's also with the cusp here, cusp here, cusp here, cusp here, and cusp here. Shifting profound energy levels, switching from Capricorn to Aquarius, Pisces to Aries, Taurus to Gemini, Gemini to Cancer, Leo to Virgo. It's putting a lot of pressure on the body, mind, heart, and soul of humanity, but also each individual. And it can turn into a fight, like where, let's say you have a certain amount of experience in life, expectations, projections, commitments, responsibilities, obligations, okay? All of that stuff in your three-dimensional life. And that constitutes you just having to get up every day and deal with life. And then there's the other journey, which is your spiritual journey here on earth. You are a, what's that song? We are spirits in a material world. Okay. There's also the spirit, the soul of Karen Clark living in this planet in the physical body of what we know as Karen Clark. And what I'm sensing here with the Strength card is that you're very, very aware of this, and you're trying to find a really good balancing point so that your three-dimensional physical life, which is, you know, your life, your world around you, the gallery, your art, your business, your environment, your community, your family, all of that, your day-to-day activities, literally day-to-day activities, that's one thing. But in the background, there's, what's the storyline for you? What is the storyline? What is the spiritual journey that you're living right now? And are you in harmony with yourself? Are you out of balance with yourself? Are you too immersed in a three-dimensional world where it's like a fight for survival and supremacy all day, every day against nature, society, enemies, let's say challenges, whatever they might be, and I have to figure it out. And there's the other side of you, which is just living in spirit, and it's very, very different. Sometimes there's a huge discrepancy between your multidimensional spirit life out there in heaven, in other words, your soul, relative to your three-dimensional life, which might feel at any one day like, oh, I had a great day, or I had a really crap day, whatever it is. It makes me feel like you're being aware that you're on a cusp yourself. You're on the cusp. Okay, this is the cusp here. Right there is the 0 degree mark. Okay? Taurus turning to Gemini on the 0 degree. Pisces to Aries on the 1 to 2 degree. You're still on the cusp here. Sun, Jupiter on the cusp. So which is it? Of course, both are happening simultaneously. And it's like, you can't exclude one or the other. You can't make your whole life about a three-dimensional existence because you're perfectly aware that this exists. You can't turn your life into one like spiritual journey as though you're like a permanent, guru or, a Buddhist or a yogi sitting all day just staring at the plants and the animals and walking around in the garden waiting for somebody to, feed you and, house you and bless you because you are like a monk, a female monk or something. It's not like that. You're living in both worlds simultaneously, and it's finding the balance. Very, very tricky. All right, so what's the situation? Let's get back here. Okay, so with the Eight of Swords, my feeling is that you are acutely aware of the minute details of every form of challenge with which you're dealing in your life right now, whether it's maybe a co-worker, a politician, a family member, business practices, legal matters, plans for the future, stuff you have to do that's really, really tedious that you don't want to do, but you have to do it just to get by in life and the world and the business and family. And then just random stress. All of these things are happening simultaneously. It adds up. It could be like a cumulative feeling like, oh, I'm just completely, utterly stressed out. But if you realize that you're perfectly aware that that stuff is out there, and yeah, it's difficult to navigate, but you don't have to become a victim. And in some ways, see, like, if you let yourself become a victim, tied up in knots, as you try to figure out the next chapter in my life, who am I really? What is the discrepancy between my three-dimensional life and my soul? What is the story? Like, why am I here? How did I incarnate? Where did I come from? What was I in a past life? What is my, what am I actually doing here? And then how does that translate into your three-dimensional life? And we're looking for definition. And sometimes the only way you can get definition is by finding out, like when you go to a doctor, they're going to check anything and everything. How can I describe this? Like the diagnostics, okay? It's like probing. With all these swords, it's just like you're living through a period at this moment where you're having to experience, let's say, negative phenomena in order to get definition. You have to find out what the problems are. You need definition. You don't have to let yourself become a victim. You have to be aware and receptive. Part of that means being still, but also with this blindfold here, it's an indication that the best thing to do is trust that this is exactly as it should be. Why is that so? How is it so? It's because it can't be any other way. You're living through a chapter right now, along with the rest of the world, where we are going through profound transitions. Look at it this way in terms of the astrology. We had years and years of Capricorn, Pisces, Taurus energy, very harmonious in that way. Now we're heading into a chapter where it's going to be Aquarius, Aries, Gemini energy, very harmonious with itself, but very, very different to what we had, okay? And so how do we navigate? Because everyone on planet Earth is trying to figure out the same thing. You're just dealing with your own version of all the external stress factors, and how are you going to navigate through these without being burned, without being hurt? And sometimes the best thing to do, I'm not going to project on top of this, but it's like trusting your senses, knowing that these are out there, and it's like flying at nighttime. Okay? All right, so what are the challenges? Okay, we got the 10 of Pentacles here. So it might feel that despite all your efforts, all your success, all your talents and gifts and your capabilities and your own abundance, you might feel as though all the really, really good things in life that you've been working for, everything, home, family, success, relationships, business success, harmony in the community, harmony between yourself and New Zealand, between New Zealand and yourself, all of that feels like it's in jeopardy because of all the stress factors that are surrounding you or that are, it's not there. Please don't take this personally, okay? It's stress factors that are in the environment in which you live. Okay, and how does that affect you? It makes you feel that you are at risk of losing things that are potentially very valuable to you. You know, everything that you've worked for, everything in which you believe, everything that you represent, all your talents and gifts and your resources that by rights should be experienced in your life as great abundance. And yet the feeling like it's just not there. It's just not there. Like, I don't have as much money as I should have. I don't have as much fame, success, recognition as I should have, given all the work that I do and how I do it. And I'm so diligent and careful and dedicated. Why is that not happening to the max level? Okay? It's understandable. Stress factors. All right, so how do we proceed? Let's have a look. Okay, so we have the Lover's card here. I don't really want to declare that this is about relationships. It makes me feel like, you know, some people associate this with very, very profound decision making. So when you look at the Lovers, the reason I think people associate with decision making is because it's such an incredibly profound decision about choosing a mate. And do I mate or do I not mate? And, you know, in the process of natural selection, you know, Darwin and all of that, the scorpionic, plutonic energy of birth, procreation, and then death, okay? It really does matter. In other words, I'm just use the relationship analogy. In other words, just having random sex, making random babies with random people can lead to a lot of chaos. However, by being highly selective, by going through the process of natural selection, in other words, that one doesn't work, that one doesn't work, that one doesn't work, that one doesn't work, and fate and so on brings people together, it's an indication of the decision making to get to the point where a viable relationship dynamic can occur. I'm not saying this is about relationships itself, but it's about the process to getting towards successful outcomes, successful relationship dynamics. In other words, getting back to this in such a way that works for you so that you feel as though your three-dimensional life is worth it, and all your efforts and dealings with stress, internal stress, external stress, is worth it. And that the reality is that you do have a high degree of abundance, but you might not be aware of it or appreciate it because of these factors. So when I combine this with this, it makes me feel that the way forward is to, I don't know, I don't want to be judgy about this, but it's just like it's having to be very, very tough, diligent, responsible, and cautious, and patient with your decision making going forward in life, whatever the decisions might be regarding business, family, money, contracts. Contracts involve relationships, okay? Maybe co-workers, employees, your relationship with the local community where your business is, or with the larger community in the whole of New Zealand, and so on. Day-to-day activities. In other words, by having more and more and more, how am I going to explain this? Think of it as the art of decision making. in San Francisco, I forgot the university up there. It's one of the big ones. They now have a department of decision making, something like that. I don't know what the formal name is, but it's a whole academic practice about the art of decisions. Because a lot of our decisions are made on autopilot by our limbic system. Remember, inside of us, we have an extremely powerful limbic system, which allows us to do almost everything in our life on autopilot. Obviously, things like breathing, blinking, sneezing, action and reaction. Somebody says something horrible to you and you say, fuck you, and you punch them in the face. That would just be the limbic system doing its thing. I don't like you anymore. I'm just going to eliminate you from my life. But without any conscious, let's say, evaluation of what's actually going on. So when you go back to the strength card, it looks to me like there's a disparity between your three-dimensional life and the life you chose when you came into this incarnation, this lifetime. It's like it's diverged. It's like you're on a path, but things are in such a way that you're realizing there is a disparity. So how do you get back to harmony and unity, where the life that you're living, the three-dimensional your life that you are living, is in harmony and compliance with the journey of your soul? So the way to do that with the Lover's card is it's almost like to train yourself how to become a better decision maker. And one of the ways to do that is to implement the 5-second rule or the 10-second rule. Let's say a piece of information comes at you. A bill in the mail, like your gas, your electric bill. Ugh, fuck. They're always ripping me off. Or let's say it is a customer comes in the store and they are arrogant, rude, stupid, and they just really piss you off. And you basically go up to them and say, listen, I don't need people like you, get out of here. That could be automatic limbic behavior and so on. But it could be like maybe someone's having a bad day and they're taking it out on you. You don't take it personally. Give yourself time to breathe in and like assess the situation, evaluate the situation, whatever that might be, before you make decisions on how to proceed. And that requires a lot of spiritual poise. Difficult to do. Some people are very supercharged. They make all their decisions in the moment. They're highly caffeinated. And they love being out there. They can still be a good person, but sometimes people, they don't give themselves the breathing room to make really healthy decisions. And sometimes really healthy decisions means taking time, pausing, slowing down, and considering the outcome. Let's say if I decide this, or this, or this, or this behavior, given circumstance, challenge number 7. Challenge number 5 on the first card. If I just react, it's just going to bring more trouble. You get sucked into karma. So the better thing to do is to respond. Now I can define what are those challenges. Now I know what it is. I get pissed off when I'm surrounded by stupid people. Okay. If that's the reality, then okay, how am I going to deal with that? Just accept that you get pissed off. So if your natural reaction is to like, get out of here, I don't want to be with them, I don't want them near me, I'm going to just go away or whatever. Instead, realize, oh God, there's a stupid person. I know I'm not going to like this. So I'm going to have to figure out how am I going to behave in this situation. Am I going to accommodate them? Maybe they're just a really nice person having a shit day. But you don't know unless you kind of allow a few things to percolate before reacting. In other words, you don't react, you respond. When you respond, that's an indication of good decision making, which leads to better outcomes in life, which gets back to greater and greater chance of harmony on the strength card. Three-dimensional life versus multi-dimensional life of the soul. So I hope this reading made sense to you, Karen. Okay, now, again, Karen, you're going to have to reinterpret that, how that translates into your own life, okay? Oh, Karen, look what you just wrote. Look what you just wrote, Karen. That's incredibly profound. Sometimes I want to explain myself, because I think if only they understood me, they wouldn't attack me. Whoa, okay, that says a lot. Oh, okay. Jeffrey, wow. Jeffrey, I'm all booked up. I'm glad you're saying all is good, I would say. That's good. Good to see you, man. Karen, thank you. I hope you got something out of it. I'm very honored that you chose me to read for you. Fluffles, you're up. And I have to scroll back and look at your notes, okay? Oh my God. Oh, I see it. I see your notes. You finally passed the customs broker test. You got fingerprinted, and now you're just waiting on them to let you know. That's February, March, April, May, June. 4 months, okay? Okay. Fluffles. Okay, I'm seeing your notes there. Hold on, Fluffles. Let me read. It says, Hi, TL. My question is, what does the rest of this year look like for me in regard to my business? Yes. And yes, I have my guardian angels around me. Excellent. Okay, we're off to a really good start. Thank you, Karen. Okay? Seriously, good news, Jeffrey. That's fantastic. That's actually really, really good. Hey Karen, do you see those notes there from Jody? She wants to know what time is it in New Zealand? What's the temperature like? Hey Jeffrey, also you might want to explain what it is. Explain what a customs broker is so that everybody in the chat understands what you've had to deal with for so long. Okay, Fluffles. So, what does the rest of this year look like for Fluffles regarding business? And yes, she assures us that she has her angels around her as we speak. That's very, very good. You've got your own team of invisible friends, and all they want is what is best for you. It always works best by invitation. In other words, they're not going to just sit there and, guide you and protect you all day long so that you don't have to do anything. You still have to live your life. What they love is being invited through prayer. Or even conversation. You can talk to your invisible friends just like we're talking right now. Alright, so what kind of messages do we have for Fluffles tonight regarding the rest of this year and her business? Let's have a look. Alright, here's the situation. Here's challenges. And here's how we're going to handle things. going forward. Hydration. All right, external influences. Woo! Kerboom! Wowza! Oh my gosh! The Sun card is very, very simple, really, in so many ways. It's about abundance, happiness, joy, radiance, goodness. Look at it. I mean, just look at it. Isn't that beautiful? And look, there's you, Fluffles. Come on, I can get a better definition than this. Come on, let's have a look. Maybe I'll go up really close and just scan the whole thing. Look at that. Oh, come on, camera. I wish I had better cameras. I've got... it's a little bit frustrating. I run everything here on a shoestring, but we still do okay. The Sun represents joy, bounty, happiness, success, good luck, abundance, creativity, a creative self-expression. Oh, look who it is. It's little Bubba. It's the Bubba monster. You sound so pathetic. Oh, yes you are. Don't worry, little Bubba. I got you. You're so dopey. Oh, Bubba. Come and say hi to everybody. Bubba has found a new hiding place. It's in the bunker. I have a bunker set up for Bubba. And he's been there for the last few days. And what I think is happening is that it's fairly dark and it's insulated and quiet away from everything else in life, in the world, that it allows him to relax very, very deeply. And he goes into, you can't really see him right now, he's decided to cuddle up with me on my lap right now as we're doing the readings. Little Bubba, oh my gosh. I'm not going to try to show him to you. I can't really do that at the moment. I think one day, you know what I think I'll do one day? I'll just make a little tiny video, like a little short, so that everybody can meet Bubba. Okay? He's a wonderful little animal. Sometimes he wakes up from weird little dreams. Let me just Fluffles, hang in with me for a second, because so he's parked himself here because I think he might have had a scary dream, and he's really, let's say, wanting to. You see, one of the things is that he doesn't understand how or why I talk to these inanimate objects in my room. Everything here is set up like a studio, and he hears my voice, but there's no people here. And I think it really upsets him and confuses him every now and again, like, why on earth are you, what on earth are you doing? Why on earth are you, talking to what? That piece of machine when I'm here? Why? Why would you do that? You've got me, Bubba, baby, Bubba. It's funny because in some ways he's very needy, very insecure. In other ways he's like supreme. And he's a little animal. He has a soul. And recently he lost his brother. And the year before that he lost his little friend Bonnie. And they've been together for many years. And when that happened, things became a little bit strange here for Bubba. Like, where are they? And for months and months, every day he'd go wandering around trying to look for them. Where are they? Where did they go? Luckily, I was able to connect with them in spirit. I would, every now and again, I still connect with Bonnie and Boo Boo. And I try and convince Bubba that he's okay. His brother is in heaven. And Bonnie keeps checking in too. But then again, in 3D life, it kind of doesn't make sense. And recently, for about 6 months, there was another cat here. It was being fostered for a while. And that was very difficult for Bubba. Because he really doesn't like other cats, to be honest. He just likes to be the king of the world. And anything that basically takes me away from that he doesn't like it. Anyway, I've just finished comforting him. He seems to be happy now. He got a whiff of the food treat that I just put out for him a few minutes ago. I think he's going to figure it out. He's a beautiful little soul. Mm-hmm. What's that, is it? Amazon boxes. Greatest cat bunkers ever. Comes into your readings. Yes, that's true. Yes, he is beautiful. I'm going to make a little video. I think I will. Anyway, let's get on with your reading, shall we? All right, this is the last reading of the evening. Well, it's lunchtime for Karen. Well, it's afternoon for Karen, but over here in America, it's evening or nighttime. So the sun card for you, Fluffles, is... I wouldn't stand up and go jumping around the room right now and popping bottles of champagne and whooping and hollering and stuff like that. I would accept this as a very gentle, very, very powerful message that you're going to be okay. In fact, if you want to, very, very shyly, discreetly, even allow yourself a little bit of a glimpse to feel like, wow, actually it could be pretty good. Oh my God. All right, let's have a look. What's the situation? So this, in other words, look at it very, very simply, okay? Look at it in really simple terms. The sun. Let's put it this way. In terms of this astrology, it can be good or bad, however we interpret it. It's a very extreme example of extreme astrology right now, okay? Sarah, I'm all booked up at the end. I've already done 4. I'm suggesting to people, if you want one, go ahead and book it, do the donations thing, and I'll make one and send one to you through the mail. So over here, Fluffles over here, this is happening to the whole of planet Earth. If you're a little baby born right now, this is what your chart would look like. I cannot imagine what a life would look like for this little baby when it reaches, let's say, it's Saturn return, for example. Anyway, it's a very extreme chart. It's very, very challenging, but it's also very exciting because it's basically forcing evolution onto humanity. And in simple terms, you could say the planets are smiling on you. Situation itself. Okay, so with the 4 of Cups here, it makes me feel like the reality for you is that it's almost like you're haunted by the past. Okay? Let's just say you already know what it's like to be really successful and happy and blessed. Being loving, being loved, providing service to others through your business, receiving rewards accordingly. Okay? And then something goes horribly wrong. And that leaves a very shocking, deep, painful scar, which is almost like a non-healing wound that's there. Always, always in the background, this feeling like at any moment, anything and everything could go wrong. All the love that I put out there could just be spilled and gone and lost forever. And so that sets you up into a little bit of an invisible self-defeating behavior without even knowing that you're doing it. Now remember, with this card over here, look at this little thing. That looks like a miniature Ace of Cups. The Ace of Cups is, of course, almost just as powerful as the Sun card. Okay, so there's you, all right? So picture that. There's you, all right, Fluffles? So what's happening? You're focused on everything and anything that didn't work, that failed, that created pain and suffering and loss, no matter how much love you threw into the thing, okay? You threw your heart, your body, your mind, your heart, your soul into your business. And then certain things went wrong, and it was very painful. And so you get sucked up into that, okay? And that's just like perpetual woe is me. Woe is me, woe is me, woe is me. But over here with the Four of Cups, it's an indication that, please, dear Fluffles, don't ever forget that you're swimming in love. You're always surrounded by love, the healing power of love. It's an energy field. It's perpetual. It's infinity. It never goes away. It's just that you might have forgotten. Because people get absorbed into their problems. They become married to their problems. And so over here, this little thing I keep reminding myself. Energy flows where attention goes. Okay, think of that very carefully, all right? For you Fluffles. Energy flows where attention goes. If your energy is consciously or even unconsciously focused on anything and everything that didn't work, couldn't work, wasn't going to work, will never work, you're just creating more and more misery. And it feeds on itself. It becomes a negative feedback loop. So please understand, using this phenomenon called energy management, you could deliberately choose to focus over here. Energy flows where attention goes, and now you focus your energy onto this. Like, in other words, oh my God, I forgot about that. I am perpetually swimming in love. The universe is there for me always. Even when things apparently seem bad, it's still ultimately in my favor, because you are a person who chooses to be loving, okay? Even in the business scenario where sometimes you have to be very tough, you're coming at it from love. In other words, in essence, you provide a service and you are rewarded accordingly. It's very simple, very, very pure. So at this moment in time, the situation is that you might be scared to accept and understand that fortune and goodness and happiness and success is available to you. But you're not going to achieve it to the level that you deserve if you're perpetually focused on whatever can go wrong. Like, I better not do this because that will happen. Oh, I better not do this. I better not be that way. Oh, no, 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 because it'll just create more misery. I don't want more misery, so I'm not going to do that. Oh, my God, because I remember how horrible it was when I failed at this and I lost everything. And that just turns into a pity party. Woe is me, misery. It's never going to work. So, going back to physics, pure physics, energy flows where attention goes. You have to deliberately refocus on the good. Attitude of gratitude. Remember how incredibly blessed you are, how you are successful by nature, and that when you provide the service, it's not because you're trying to gouge people. It's because you love what you do. You love providing the service to people who need your service. It's reciprocal, and then it feeds on itself, and love breeds love. Duh! Okay, what's the challenges here? Okay, so with the seven of, excuse me, sorry, I had a bit of a technical glitch, sorry. Thank you, necessary. I see that. So with the Seven of Pentacles, this is going to be a shocking reminder or realization for you Fluffles that you can be your own worst enemy. There you are, all day, every day, sitting on top of your own little gold mine, all of your talents, gifts, resources, skills, credentials, qualifications, history, your, I don't know, your business integrity, all those things are very valuable. And no one can refute that. The only reason that things are not maybe optimized to the way that you feel you deserve is because either you're not weeding your own garden, which goes back to this. Are you doing everything on autopilot? Or are you just assuming that if I do this, I'll get that because of previous experience? But no, instead, with the Seven of Pentacles, this is like, oh God, TL, I know what you're talking about. I never do, for example, I'm just trying to do random, something like, I never follow up on the paperwork. I hate doing the paperwork. Or I always wish I didn't have to do quarterly accounting. Or I wish I had a better accountant. Or I wish, but I never do it because it's just tedious stuff. Maybe there are things about your business that you find really, really tedious, and so you kind of push them aside because maybe the thing that you love is the closing a deal and bringing in a really good client and serving them well, and then they are happy, and then you are rewarded, and then you go off and enjoy the reward. But the thing is about running a business, there's a lot of tedious stuff that has to be done. Either daily or weekly or quarterly or something like that, monthly, whatever it is, so that it functions properly. All right, so how do we deal with this going forward? Okay, with temperance. Okay, the way I'm looking at this, Fluffles, this whole reading is actually about how are you going to cure yourself? How are you going to heal yourself from being your own worst enemy? You have to realize that you're the only person who is responsible for this. Let's say, I don't know, let's say it's something to do with bookkeeping. Or let's say it's something to do with business compliance, legal matters or something. And it's just really boring, tedious, clumsy, feels threatening. What happens if you're denied, or what happens if something goes wrong? And let's say you know that you could do it, or maybe you'd rather outsource it to another professional or something so that it has to be done. But either way, you know damn well that this behavior has to stop, or at least be reduced. And it means having to spend more and more time and energy doing the daily, weekly, monthly gardening of your business so that your business is optimal, okay? And so if you want to look at it in the spiritual sense, it's about you learning how to be, I don't know, it's like, okay, look at it this way. In order to enjoy the full bounty of the Sun card energy here, it means you're going to have to go through a process of self-healing. And I feel like this is something that only you can do. You're the only person who can heal yourself in this way. Now, you might have to bring help in. For example, maybe you need a better accountant. Maybe you need a good attorney. Maybe you need a good bookkeeper. Maybe you need an assistant, something like that. Things that you might be very resistant to, because it's just like, well, I do my own stuff. I can do my own books. I can do my own legal. No. What we have to do here is scale up, improve your business management skills in such a way that one day at a time you chip away at it, so you're less and less and less and less and less your own worst enemy, and you become a person who heals themselves by admitting and discovering and becoming aware of all the things that you're neglecting. Just look around at your business and identify any component or aspect that is not working, and then make the decision to heal that thing. However that has to be done, okay? And then you go from there, And that turns into a healing phenomenon. It's a phenomenon of self-healing. Healer, heal thyself. You know what we're talking about here, Fluffles. I'm sure you can reinterpret this reading very accurately, okay? I'm going to check your notes in a minute, but I want to finish the reading because I see you're very active here. So the way forward is to very, very kindly and very, very gently do what you know has to be done in order for your business to thrive. And some of that means doing things that you actually don't really like to do, but they have to be done. It's part of business. Like some business people who are really successful, they hate going to board meetings. Some business people who are really successful, they hate anything to do with the bookwork or paperwork. Whatever it is, it's something that has to be done. All right? So Fluffles, I hope that helps you. All right, I want to read through your notes here while I'm still on your reading. Give me a chance, okay? Okay, I see it over here. Okay, I'm in love. What is that? I've been dwelling on fear. This must change. I'll change it. Yeah, I knew it, but to hear it's amazing. Okay, necessary. Some will come out. Okay. I'm in love with my customers in a healthy way. I'm in love with making people's home dreams come true. I grew up on welfare and homeless twice as a young child. I ate at the food shelter and lived at the women's shelter with my mother. We never owned a home. When I bought my first home, it was the best day of my life. I love helping others get into their home and figuring out how to make it happen. Wow, that's amazing. As far as the costs, yes, I know. I don't want to get out there again and hit the pavement. It sucks. I'll have to attend events and chamber events, blah, blah, blah. And I'm 50 and I don't want to do it. I know. Yep. I totally understand. It sucks. Where is it say? What? Hold on. Oh gosh, we really hit a nerve here, didn't we, Fluffles? The challenge is waiting, not taking action. Watching and waiting for your current clients to grow. Wow. Woo! Communal reading here, folks. That's fantastic. Fluffles, I think we kind of nailed it here, especially having help from the audience and the viewers. Balancing between two firms, maybe. That's temperance. I'm on my going to give that much energy to this client and this firm, only that much energy to this firm, that client. Okay. Yeah, we can talk business forever, but I'm kind of out of it. I've done 4 readings in a row, and I can't handle much more. So I want to thank everybody who came here tonight and got their mini readings and they donated. I really appreciate it. I hope you get something of value out of the readings. To the people I couldn't read because you're too late, or I don't have enough time or energy anymore for these things the way I used to. But you can go over to TarotLumination.com. I can do a thing. It'll be just like this, but it'll be a mini reading just for you. You get 5-10 minutes or whatever it is. It'll be recorded. It'll get sent to you. That's it. You just need to go through TarotLumination.com. There's the email, the website, the donation page. You put your money in there, and that's how it works. Thank you, Bubba. All right, I'm going to say thank you and good night to everybody. It's been a pleasure. I'm going to sort out and clean up the decks soon, okay? Thank you, Necessary. Take care, everybody. Thanks for the community sharing type thing, the campfire vibe. Really, really helps. It really helps. Okay, bye-bye.